thank you, Mr. Huppenthal, for coming out this evening and talking to us. Just to let everyone know, Mr. Huppenthal was very gracious. About 1.5 years ago, he met with me in his office because at the time I was a parent who was very concerned with a new piece of curriculum that was being piloted in my district that fell under Common Core state standards. And that was the first time that I learned of Common Core, and like someone else who came up and spoke, I did a lot of Google searches, and it was very, very difficult to find out anything about Common Core state standards. And as I expressed to you at the time, I was very frustrated that something so large and drastic could be brought into our state and implemented without really any input from our state legislators, from parents, from teachers. I'm very active. I do read the paper, sir, and I didn't see anything in the paper. And as I expressed then, I will continue to express that I'm very concerned with Common Core standards. I don't agree with them. It does take away local control. It is costing our district a lot of money that we do not have, sir. And it is tying the hands of our teachers. And I am continuing to request if you could please pull Arizona out of Common Core standards.
So if I might talk to that issue, one of the things that I ask people when they talk about pulling us out of Common Core state standards, one of the things I'm doing is looking at the states that have, quote, pulled their states out of Common Core state standards. And what I'm finding is there's a lot less there than meets the eye. And when they started the Common Core state standards issue, it was started by an organization called Achieve. And Achieve has 4 big-time CEOs of corporations. Lou Gerstner, who was the chairman of IBM, was on it. There were also 4 governors. And they evaluated the standards across the country. And what they found is 2 things. They found, one, that the standards were all too low. That students who were passing these standards were going on to college and finding themselves in remediation. So we were saying, you pass the test, you pass the standards, you're on to a successful life, and in fact, they went right on into failure. When you go into remediation in college, your odds of passing and getting a college degree are just about 0. Students coming out of remediation have almost no chance of getting a college degree. So they felt that the standard ought to mean something and let parents know early on that you're on alert. Your child is not on to readiness for college or readiness for a career. The other problem they found was even more serious than the fact that the standards were too low. They found that all these academics who go in this room and formulate standards always end up overstuffing the standards. So a good teacher is faced with 220 days of standards for a 180-day school year. And so one of the things when Achieve contracted to get standards written was they produced 180 days of standards for a good teacher. And there were standards that were focused on college and career readiness. That almost is a common sense kind of thing. Those states that have withdrawn, quote, withdrawn from Common Core standards still are focused on college and career readiness. So the thing that I've talked about is, if we're moving out of Common Core, what are we moving to? All of the states, even the ones who didn't adopt Common Core, seem to have adopted college and career ready standards. as almost a common sense thing, and to be focused on what's necessary for success in life and success in college and success in career, but also to have standards that are on a budget that can be taught by a good teacher in 180 days. So that's a little bit of the challenge. We have a massive system, 1.1 million students, 60,000 teachers, tens of thousands of administrators. This is a ship that's been sailing for 3 years. I call it a John Adams Republican. Back in 1776, when he was fashioning our Declaration of Independence, first he had all the colonies determine the new order by having them write all their constitutions. Then, only and then, did he declare independence from Britain. So the question is, if we are going to move from something called Common Core to something that's called College and Career Ready, what is the nature of that? What does that look like? And we want to do that in a stable way. We want to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt teachers. We want to do that in a way that is smooth and is well done as what John Adams did back in 1776. We don't want to do what the French did and pitch our education system into the abyss of chaos when they did their change. So that stability is, I would ask you all to start thinking that through, to talk to your curriculum coordinators, and above all, we want to send a message to our teachers. We're going to stick to College and Career Ready. We may reject something called Common Core. We may reject any kind of federal involvement whatsoever, but we want to make sure that teachers know we're not doing it at their expense, that we're not destabilizing their classroom, that we're going to be as supportive, and that classroom is going to be a stable thing as we move through this.